Hey guys, Takahmasak here, and welcome to DPO or Diepio, whichever you want to call it. It doesn't seem like the internet is completely agreed on what to call this game. There are about 1.5 billion .io games. It seems to be like a real huge craze with the youngsters nowadays. Not necessarily just the youngsters. I think I learned from it from my son, and then I noticed there's like 8 million other .io games. But anyway, today we're just focusing on, I don't know what to call it, DPO. What this is, you can see by the graphics, this is the graphics. All these games are, well, for the most part, they're really, really minimalist games, but they're all MMOs. So in DPO, as you might notice, there is no sound to this game. I might look for some royalty-free music or something like that. To throw in the background or something, otherwise you're just listening to me talk, and then as much fun as that is. The main concept of all of these games is to eat and get bigger, much like the Snake game back in the day. There will be, for the most part, it's a free-for-all, but as you saw on the main screen, this particular version has like a free-for-all. There's a double team, like 2-team game. There's a 4-team game. There's like a domination game, which I think is 2-player. The free-for-all, I don't remember if I mentioned that already. But for the most part, this particular game, I like to join games that are one-sided in the opponent's favor. That is my favorite type of game to play. And if you really want to get decent at it, what you want to do is find out as much as you can about who your allies are. I would like to find out what Noobicide is. And, well, never mind, he just got owned or left. So I like to find out who people are because I can kind of pick a class that isn't one of those. So what we have in the bottom left is, I don't know if you can read this, but it's like the stats for the tank. So you have health regen, max health, body damage, bullet speed, bullet penetration, bullet damage, reload, and movement speed. So how this works is it helps to know ahead of time what kind of tank you want to be. For the most part, when I start off, I'm going to be doing bullet damage if I'm not going to be a melee tank, because I think I know what I want to be this version. So it seems like in a large part, I'll put 1 into penetration just to help me get through these things. And then I want to do reload, which, exactly like it sounds, make me shoot faster. But, so when you initially start off, it's a good idea to just kind of sit back and farm a little bit of the squares and the pentagons. You see there's triangles and pentagons. That guy's being nice and let me killing it. And then each one is certain points. Like the squares they're like 10 points, and the triangles are like 20 or so. And then the pentagons are obviously worth much more. A lot of these spawn much, much heavier in the center of the map, but that's also where everybody hangs out to try to gather experience. So now, once you reach level 10 or level 15, you have an option of what you can be. Largely based, I think, on your... Well, maybe not. Maybe you can always pick these no matter which you choose. You saw it had the sniper, which is fairly slow firing, even like compared to max reload, compared to others. But it can see, like, it increases its visual, so you can see people a lot earlier than they can see you. What I chose is the machine gun, which is just, well, as you can see, you can just hold in the button and it'll just pop, pop, pop. This guy is a twin cannon, or whatever you want to call it, and it's got a name. I just can't remember off the top of my head. And I can't remember what the third or the fourth one was. But there's a 5th one, which is more of like a melee attacker. You boost up your body damage and your maximum health, obviously. So once you crash into stuff, you'll take damage. So if I just smash it, I'm relatively... I mean, even when you start off, you can just crash into a triangle, I think, and kill it. And you might even be able to take out a pentagon or 2 just in your initial phase. So it's not like it's super hard to murder these things right off the bat. Now that I have reload maxed and bullet speed maxed, I'm gonna reload and bullet damage maxed. I'm gonna work on bullet speed. I haven't even been every single tank in this game yet because I'm not even sure how to get everything. Oh, the fourth thing was like I think it's called a flank guard, and it's kind of like a double ender, so it's got a cannon on one side and a cannon on the other. Now, I think that's okay. I've never really been a fan of that one particularly, because what can happen is after you fire, there's a little bit of a recoil. So if I hold it in, you see I'm slowly drifting up. And the larger your bullet, the farther it throws you up there. So that's just the very, very general gist of the game. In two-player mode like this, you have the blue side and the red side. The blue area, this will be completely safe for blue people. Like the red bullets will stop right here. And you have these little triangle guys, which are completely invincible. So if a red team member tried to come in here to murder you, those things would just do an insane amount of damage and just mop the floor with you, because there's no way to kill it. So, in a couple of interesting ones, this is a higher level tank. It's called an Auto 5. What that one does, it's like, I think you can control 2, maybe 3 of them if you have your mouse set right, but they auto fire, which is good and bad. And I think this guy is the next upgrade from the twin cannon. I don't know what it's called, because honestly I've never been that route. But once you get high enough as a machine gunner, I now have the choice to be either a destroyer, which fires a massive bullet very slowly, but deals absurd amounts of damage, or I can be a gunner, which I am going to choose, and shoot a billion mini bullets very quickly, which will help me get experience. And every so often, like you see on the top, hopefully you can read that. It's probably small on that screen. But, oh, son of a... like I was saying, these random bosses will spawn, and they hate everybody. They're going to kill the blue team and the red team. I don't know why I'm Petticoat Jimmy. It's just something that came into my head. But once you kill them, I think... I've only killed one of these things, and I think it was worth like 30,000 experience, so that would definitely throw you at least close to the maximum level of 45. So you could get your... Oh, there's all red team. I thought I was on the correct team. See, this isn't really one of the ones I like to play, just because it's dominated by one side. So there's an example of a... Should be an Annihilator somewhere around here. Yeah, this big guy shoots just monstrous bullets and can just murder everything in one shot. And you noticed when I died, I died, but I still had a fair amount of upgrades to put in. What that means is, or what happens is when you die, I think you lose 1/2 of your total experience. Oh, ow. Didn't know I was that close. Almost died again because I suck at this game. But yeah, I'd much rather dig myself out of a hole than, like, hang out with all these high-level people and just kind of kill me. Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to find another game. I'll be right back. Alright, so I've switched games and got approximately to where I last was. I kept the same tank, even though I didn't necessarily think it would be the best option. I'm pretty sure they have a sniper down here, which is unfortunate. A lot of this one is going to be just explaining how it works, and then I can kind of, like, get into just trying to murder people in the overall gameplay. Hey, buddy, you're going to fucking kill me? No! Oh my god, he hit me in the ass. Alright, so I think the best overall option would be... I don't know why it lags a little bit right there. I think it'd be a best, at this point, to be a sniper, just because they have a lot of stuff that can really poop out bullets. And when I notice that, I like to do snipers. Plus, when we don't have one, and a lot of guys seem to be going minigun, or not minigun, but the twin cannon there. But yeah, I'm going to start him off pretty much the same way I did before. The only problem with if you like to play it like I do and just kind of find a game where it's really one-sided, a lot of people like to camp the edge like these idiots do, which is a really lame technique. I mean, just keeping people in the side. They're going to be able to level up anyway. And aside from my personal failures, I mean, obviously I'm not going to have enough movement speed to get out of the way, unfortunately. So it kind of forces me to hang out back here. And the leaderboard really doesn't mean much. I mean, this guy's got 650,000, which is actually quite a bit. I've never seen anybody with that much. But after level 45, you don't really get any stronger, and you hit that, God, well before that. Well before even, I think you hit it before 50,000. So yeah, there's not too much of a point, I suppose, other than bragging rights. One thing I have noticed about this game is there's people that do the... I'm not positive what it is, if it's like... not necessarily like guilds, but like groups of people. I see a lot of MG people, and I think that's kind of stupid to like join each other in a game and like not kill each other. I mean, if you're on the same team, fine, but if you're on opposite teams and you're not trying to kill each other, I think that's kind of stupid. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it. This is an example of one of the melee guys. He is E! You fear the vowel. And yeah, I think I'm going to go away again just to try to build up my level. It's going to take forever at this rate because I can't really go too far out of my base, unfortunately. So I'll take care of that, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm getting to the point where I can start reasonably killing people. I mean, you can with the initial sniper upgrade, but it's a little easier because as you go up the sniper tree, your vision gets increased fairly dramatically. And 2 things I remembered that I didn't mention is that every tank has like an inherent level of regen, like whatever the default is. I'm pretty sure it's time-based, not necessarily make you regen faster is that first upgrade there. So what you need to do is you need to avoid taking damage for one, and then, well, I think that's it, really. I was going to say you have to sit still, but I don't think that's the case at all. I think you just have to, after a certain amount of time after you haven't taken damage, you'll start to regenerate. And let's see if I can find this schmuck. Now, I don't know why people go these things, because if you're a sniper, and if you can get to either side of them, you can usually... Come on, murder! Is that another sniper over there? I don't know where he is, but he's got to be up here somewhere. I must have snuck away. No! I thought I would have a chance to be cool, but I'm not cool. I suck at this game. For the most part, that's true. I don't have any super cool music or anything to put in there. And I'm sure all the royalty-free music is just absolutely epic. And the other thing I wanted to mention about at least this version of the IO game is that... Get him! Get him! Hey! Is that there are a ton of different tanks, and it seems like there's a decent counter for each one. Go away. Oh, fucking hell. But there's a decent counter for... Oh, God, there's a My Froggy-o. Oh, God. But yeah, it seems like there's a decent counter for everything. Like, if they have a bunch of bullets, you can usually get something else that will... Like, it seems like snipers seem to be one of the better things to go up against bullets. So I'm going to do... Let's do the max health. And I'm going to want movement speed eventually. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to build myself up. And for some reason, this tank, when you want to do the melee tank, you have to get up to level 25 before it lets you upgrade. I'm not sure why it does that, if it necessarily thinks it's more powerful. But I found out the reason why Firefly has so much experience, or whatever you want to call it. He's just kind of sitting in front of the base and just moving up and down. I get kind of bored of this when I hit around, like, maybe 100,000 or so. Usually that's the case. If I hit 100,000, I'll usually just go sacrifice myself, because at that point I'm just... What's the point? And usually by then one side really has it. I suppose if the other team has it, I'll stick around for a little bit. Or if my team happens to be the team that has murdered everything, I'll kind of go like, I'll go find a low-level tank on their side of the map and just kind of sacrifice myself for the... Ooh. Yeah, whenever you see yellow or gray, that is the monsters! So I'm going to avoid him because he will murder me. Thanks, buddy. Kind of stole his... What am I running from this for? I don't need to run from that. I can just simply crash into it and murder everybody. One thing I do like about the melee tank is before you upgrade it, you look like a regular tank. So if you're sitting there shooting at something, you're doing very little damage to it. It's kind of easy for somebody on the other team to be like, oh, this guy's doing virtually no damage. So, oh, murdered. Oh, there's massive amounts of bullets. So yeah, I don't know how the exact experience calculation plays in, but it seems like you get half. I'm not absolutely positive that's correct. It could be. I think that's the guy that murdered me. Is that the guy that murdered me last time? I don't know. I don't remember. So I'm not too worried about body damage. As you can see, it gets rid of this guy's other stats and just gives him a boost to his primary stats, so body damage and movement speed. Now, this guy isn't very great against things that can poop out a lot of bullets, like this pentashot up here. Because even though I might have momentum pushing into him, his bullets will push me back and just slow me down. And this guy being slow is unsavory. So the thing you need to do is, if you can, get behind people like that and just smash into them. Let's see. And if you're lucky, somebody's usually in a hurry to, like, get down or get up, and you can kind of sneak up on them that way. Hello! Who wants spikes? You want to poke me? Hey, buddy. We have 2 melee guys now, because why not? Quit shooting those putt-putt, hi. I've killed the blue team! Oh, God! I've murdered my entire team. Yeah, you can kind of name yourself whatever you want. I actually don't think there are any name restrictions on this game, so if you really want to get clever, you can call yourself Huge Ass or Dixie Normus, like I do in other cases. Oh, hey, it's a snipper. He is an assassin who is murdered, not by me, unfortunately. Hey, buddy. I will saw you into about 12 pieces. For some reason, I seem to be doing a little better at this guy. Hi! That's the thing about these guys, is it's really hard to see them coming because they have decent move speed. And if they get behind you, it's really hard to avoid them. But like I said, if you're a guy that has a lot of bullets, like you saw that twin shot, and the reason I didn't go after him is because if he's hitting me with all those bullets, I am not going to be able to get close enough, I don't think, even with maximum movement speed. Crazy Craft / oh god, I didn't realize I was that close. Yeah. Where'd that guy go? Hey, buddy. Who wants a sawzin? Oh, come on. So apparently he's got at least a little movement speed. I'm having more fun now that I'm not being murdered and crying like a baby about it. But unfortunately, now that we're actually getting some traction, most of the time when I was leveling up this character, there were 2 people on the blue team. It was the homie that's sitting back there doing absolutely nothing, and then somebody else. So, and now that I actually, hey, I've got a lot of experience and stuff, and oh, great, now there's nobody left to kill. So, and yeah, I don't want to be one of those guys that just sits over there and camps. I don't like people that do that, and I don't like to do that myself. So, I don't know if if the game necessarily helps you. Because every now and then, like, a lot of those spawns will go, like, the triangles and rectangles and whatever, will spawn a lot in one area of their team. So, at least I can show you the center area. It has these purplish pink things that they're heat-seeking, but usually by the time you come over here, you're strong enough not to worry about them, especially if you're a high-health tank like I am. So yeah, there's a lot of variation in the game. It always tells you where the leader is if I haven't mentioned that. So you saw... Where'd he go? Oh, that is him. There's like a little... Hey, buddy. Hi! Hi! Oh, I've killed an unnamed tank, but I guess that's to like, hey, this guy's really strong. You should... Oh, God, there's a lot of dudes over here. Oh, I didn't... I guess I'm fairly close. There's more seem to be in the middle, but... Hey, buddy. Are you gonna kill yourself? Kill yourself on squares? He committed suicide on squares. Just to prevent me from boosting my ego. Not that I really have one, but yeah, that's pretty much all of DPO Diepio. I kind of want to call it Diepio just because there is another game called DPO, but it's like DPO, so meh. So yeah, these games are really fun. Again, absolutely free to play, like seems to be the case in my weekend games here. So I'll show you what happens if you or they get too close to the... Hey. If you get too close to the base, these things will come out and murder you. And it seemed like I was taking damage as I went in there. But that is pretty much Diepio. I'm not sure I really want to play more of this because I've really said all there is to say about it. If people want me to play more, I guess I will. I'd have to like find something to put in it to cover up the sound. Nobody wants to listen to me talk for 3.5 hours. As far as the special tanks, I'm not sure. You'd have to consult like a wiki or something to figure out how to get some of those other tanks. Like I'm not even sure how to get like the not the penta shot, but there's another one that I think has 7 shots on it. And there's like a booster guy. I think he is like, he just moves around really fast and he's got high touch damage. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to experiment in this game. So if you want to play, I will put the link in the video description, even though the link is DPO or Diepio. I'm never going to not say both, I don't think. So that's pretty much it for this game. This is Takahmasak, and I'll see you later.